today is one of Jacksonville and Northeast Florida's most exciting personalities. You all know her, and as the commercial says, many of us love her, Jacoby Pittman. Thank you for joining us, Jacoby.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity, Fred.
It is our pleasure. Now, your title currently, among other titles you have, is CEO, President of the Clara White Mission, and
Yes.
you're Councilwoman for City Council District 8
Yes.
in Jacksonville, Duval County.
Right.
Let's start off with some thought questions here. What is
Okay.
the state of our city?
We still need some help. You know, it's not where it needs to be. I feel like we need to be a little bit more progressive in its state right now.
As a stateswoman, what you're coming to the end of your first term.
Yes,
Soon
sir.
you're going to run for re-election. What have been your priorities, and what are your priorities for the district going forward?
Well, my priorities, one is to infuse economic development in the urban cores. You mentioned one of the major corridors, which was Myrtle Avenue in the Moncrief area. And, you know, growing up, I remember those areas being very vibrant in the community. And what you hear and what you see in those historical areas is an increase in crime. But we haven't been able to put the resources that it really deserves instead of a Band-Aid approach. So I am looking at it as, you know, looking at some of the zoning areas in the different communities, because we continue to get liquor stores, we continue to get, you know, the strip entertainment. And I just think those areas is much more than that. You know, they haven't been a whole lot of development of housing. So I have been very intentional about developing an implementation plan for, you know, the urban core, as far as, you know, bringing jobs and training back into the community, and especially assisting small businesses. You know, I remember, again, almost kind of like going to La Villa, where and they called it Uptown, you know, during that time, but to and revitalize Myrtle Avenue in the Moncrief area, putting a sports complex at the Clansdale Brown Park, expanding some of the senior services that's in the community, and bringing services that we need. You know, I think, you know, having small businesses back into the community where they can create jobs for people that look like you and me. Also, you know, schools bring, you know, making sure, I would say, the schools are being upgraded in the community, and just bring back pride, you know, bringing pride and economic development into the communities mean a lot long after I'm gone. You know, I am meeting with public and private partners in the community that can help me do that. You know, I think about places like Holly's Barbecue that have been, you know, generations of families that have run that particular restaurant over the years, who, you know, need an influx of funding to expand, to look at, you know, the mobility of transportation in the community, talking with JTA. So in my next term, and I am claiming it, that I can implement some of these things that I have been working on, you know, the past few years. And, you know, government is slow. You know, it's not like, you know, you can pick up a phone call and you can make all of these things happen. You have to have 10 votes, you know, at least for any legislation that you have. But I would say for the most part, Fred, I've gotten support from my colleagues to support some of the initiatives that you will be seeing in the next year to come to fruition, in the community. And, we need services. I think about, again, we didn't have box stores or big grocery stores in our neighborhoods. And unfortunately, we can't get these stores, especially in the older neighborhoods, because they just say, the numbers don't work. But I think about, Banner Food Store. They were in our communities,
Yep.
And they still are.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they have been able to, through the test of time, still be there for the community. It's kind of like they didn't come and go. They have stayed throughout time. And I think instead of depending on, those big stores to come back to the community, that we need to look at those type of stores to come back into our community to have the groceries that's needed. Transportation, as I said, is an issue, but JTA is listening to the residents and what they need, the types of services that they are needing in the community. So I think those are the things that I'm most proud of. And, helping the small businesses. I was a chairperson of JSAB, and we have been able to make, recommendations for the upcoming year to make sure that, small businesses are part and that they are, or they do have a seat at the table. And so I'd like to continue to see more of that, not just talk, but to make sure that they're getting contracts as well, in the community, because there's a lot of money to be made. There's a lot of money that's getting ready to come down the pipeline. And unfortunately, sometimes, our community is usually the last persons or the last organizations to hear about what funding. You think about even this COVID money that really impacted a lot of businesses, because either they were too small and they didn't have the capacity to weather the storm. But when they were able to get those that were able to stay and they were able to get some of the COVID money, they are still around. And so, I would think, for me, making sure that I get the information, continue to get the information out to families and businesses, so we can kind of grow together. This is not an overnight kind of thing. In my particular district, I probably have the largest in terms of land-wise and most diverse. On the west side, I have, agriculture and farming. And of course, I have the inner core of the community of the district that has just a lot of issues. And those issues matter to me, Fred. And I really want to be a part of, transformation and changing what it used to be like, or better than what it used to be like, in terms of bringing services to the community. And of course, you have, Dunn Avenue area. It's really growing with development. I think in the next 10 years, you're going to see a lot of growth between the north and the west side of the district and in the community.
Tell me the story behind your glasses, and then we're going to have to go. What's the story behind the Jacoby?
Well,
Jacoby glasses.
You see the Jacoby glasses. You see that. It was like, well, I got to tell you, I used to wear red frame glasses, right? And so I was actually in this boutique and I saw these shades, right? I was like, oh man, these nice, but I couldn't wear the signature glasses. Fred, I put those glasses on. It was like, it was magic, right? I was like, this is the signature, okay? And so my son actually went on line and saw similar glasses. And he was like, Mom, you can get your name on them. So anyway, since that time, the last what, 4.5 years, I have been wearing white glasses. It's my signature. And then I messed around and cut my hair. So with all of that, I really liked the new glasses and the signature, and it just defines me, and I want people to know me. I am a servant who is willing to work and to be the voice of the community in my district.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the hair. I didn't want to bring that up unless you brought it up. Because
I'm very transparent. You know that, right?
Amen. You are, and it's obviously everybody that was a major change, and the hair was one of the major changes. It looks good. So,
well, thank you very much. And Fred, I wanna say this about you. I've known you a long time. I know your son as well, and we've been friends, and we worked in the Urban League. And I just want to say I admire what you do to make sure our community is involved in, your service. First of all, thank you for your service in the military. And you have been a mentor to a lot of people. You've been behind the scenes. I remember when I first started down this trail, you pulled me aside and said, now, I think you should do this. And, I'm one of those people, I'm always in a learning mode. I wasn't, I didn't feel bad about you saying what it just made me better, and I just want to say thank you for just standing on the sideline for a lot of us. And, now you have your Zoom, a blog, and you're still out there and you're still sharing about our community and how we can make it better. So kudos to you, and I salute you for what you do in the community. And you call when you do something good, you call, and when something is going wrong that you shouldn't be doing, you also call. So I just want to say thank you, and thank you for being a part of my journey and what I'm doing in the community as well.
Daughter, mother, family, friend, mentor, CEO, president of Clara White Mission, Councilwoman Jacoby Pittman. We're going to delve, I want to get you back. We're going to delve into some more of the civic issues that are continually going to be in our face going forward. I look forward to having you back, but thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you as well. Have a great one. Bye-bye.